Available now. Link below.
Now, in a shocking turn of events that could forever alter the landscape of American politics, we uncover a bold strategy by House Democrats, led by Representative Jamie Raskin, to legislate former President Donald Trump right off the presidential ballot. After a Supreme Court decision that should have settled the matter, these Democrats are not backing down. Instead, they're doubling down, promising to use the law itself as their weapon in this unprecedented battle. Now, this isn't just about one man or one election. It's about the very fight for the soul of our republic. So as we peel back the layers of this audacious plan, you'll see the lengths to which some are willing to go to silence their opposition. And stay with us for this special report, because you don't want to miss our final thought on what this means for the future of our nation. Now, before we dive into today's explosive topic, a quick word from our sponsors, crucial to delivering the hard-hitting news that we do. In a move that mirrors today's political power plays, the markets took a hit as hopes for rate cuts were dashed, akin to how some are trying to dash Trump's electoral hopes. So don't let your financial future be as uncertain as our current political landscape. Protect your retirement with gold from the Patriot Gold Group. Mention Next News for top-tier service. And with a no-fee-for-life IRA on qualifying rollovers, it's your chance to secure stability. Call that number on the screen, 888-857-9437, for your free investor guide. In times of turmoil, both political and financial, the Patriot Gold Group stands with you. Now, an astonishing display of political maneuvering that could only be described as audacious, House Democrats, led by Jamie Raskin, have vowed to legislate former President Donald Trump off the ballot. This bold strategy emerges in the wake of a unanimous Supreme Court decision that should have settled any disputes over Trump's eligibility, yet it seems the fight is far from over. The Supreme Court's ruling was clear. States do not possess the constitutional authority to enforce Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to bar candidates from federal offices, especially the presidency. Now, this was a significant win for Trump, who has been facing legal challenges across various states attempting to question his eligibility based on allegations related to the events of January 6. Take a look.
Congress to enforce it. I disagree with that interpretation just because the other parts of the 14th Amendment are self-executing. People can go to court and say that something violates equal protection, even if there's not a federal statute that allows them to do that. But in any event, the Supreme Court punted and said it's up to Congress to act. And so I am working with a number of my colleagues, including Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Eric Swalwell, to revive legislation that we had to set up a process by which we could determine that someone who committed insurrection is disqualified by Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And the House of Representatives already impeached Donald Trump for participating in insurrection by inciting it. So the House has already pronounced upon that, and there was also a 57-43 vote in the Senate. The question is whether Speaker Mike Johnson would allow us to bring this to the floor of the House.
A big question.
Yeah, really a big question. And despite the Supreme Court's unanimous decision, Raskin's response was swift and unyielding, promising to revive legislation aimed at preventing anyone guilty of participating in an insurrection from running for president. Of course, we all know Donald Trump never has been convicted or charged with inciting or actually carrying out an insurrection. So Raskin's move, aligning with fellow Democrats Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Eric Swalwell, blatantly disregards the Supreme Court's directive, setting a dangerous precedent for overruling judicial authority with legislative power. And Raskin argues that Section 3 of the 14th Amendment provides a clear basis for disqualifying Trump, claiming the House impeachment of Trump for his alleged role in inciting the events of January 6 as sufficient grounds. However, this perspective fails to acknowledge the Senate's acquittal and the absence of any judicial conviction against Trump regarding these allegations. Now, the initiative by Raskin and his colleagues is not just a legal strategy, but a clear political gambit aimed at undermining Trump's potential win. Now, by attempting to legislate him off the ballot, Democrats are effectively trying to silence the voice of millions of Americans who support him. Now, this move raises serious questions about the integrity of our electoral process and the principles of democracy that our republic stands for. Critics argue that such legislative actions are indicative of a broader trend among some Democrats to manipulate laws for political gain rather than upholding the principles of justice and fairness. The audacity to use Congress to circumvent a Supreme Court ruling is alarming, to say the least, and sets a troubling precedent for the future of legislative and judicial interactions. Moreover, the fact that this effort is spearheaded by figures such as Raskin, Wasserman Schultz, and Swalwell, politicians who have been polarizing figures in American politics, only adds to the controversy. Their involvement underscores the partisan nature of this endeavor, further complicating the legal and ethical implications of such a legislative move. And what's particularly concerning is the potential impact on the American electoral system. If Congress were to pass such legislation, it could open the door to future attempts to disqualify candidates on politically motivated grounds. This not only undermines the will of the voters, but also jeopardizes the foundational principles of our republic. Now, the Supreme Court's decision was supposed to provide clarity and closure on the matter of Trump's eligibility. Instead, Raskin's promise to legislate Trump off the ballot has plunged the nation back into uncertainty and partisan strife. It's a stark reminder of the lengths to which some politicians are willing to go to achieve their objectives, even if it means challenging the very institutions that uphold our republic. So as the debate over Trump's eligibility continues, it's essential to remember the broader implications of the saga. It's not just about one candidate or an election. It's about the integrity of our electoral process and the rule of law. The actions taken by Raskin and his colleagues not only challenge the Supreme Court's authority, but also threaten to erode public trust in our electoral and judicial systems. So this episode is a critical moment for our republic. It's a test of our commitment to the principles of democracy and the rule of law. As we navigate these turbulent waters, we must remain vigilant against any attempts to undermine our democratic institutions for political gain. In this context, it's clear that the efforts to legislate Trump off the ballot are more than just a legal battle. They are part of a broader political struggle over the future direction of our nation. As such, it's imperative that we scrutinize these actions carefully. Understanding their implications is not just for the present, but for the future of our republic. So as the story unfolds, it's crucial for the American people to stay informed, stay engaged. The decisions made in the coming months will have lasting effects on our political landscape, shaping the contours of our republic for years to come. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. As we reflect on this audacious attempt by Democrats to legislate Donald Trump off the ballot, it's crucial to understand the gravity of this moment. This isn't merely a political skirmish, it's a profound challenge to the principles that underpin our republic. When elected officials seek to manipulate laws to silence opposition, they threaten the very foundation of our democratic system. It's a moment that calls for critical reflection on what we value as a nation and the lengths that we're willing to go to uphold those values. So let this episode serve as a stark reminder. The strength of our republic is tested not by our ability to exclude, but by our willingness to embrace the principles of fairness, due process, and the rule of law. As Americans, our commitment to these ideals will determine the future of our republic.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.